If you want to start a photography business, you're probably wondering, where do I even start? How do I make this thing official? So this video, I'm going to get into the practical steps that you need to take to actually legitimize your business, from taxes and accounting and all that not so fun stuff that we creatives don't love to think about. I'm going to break it down and tell you exactly the steps that you need to take. My name is Holly. I've been a professional photographer for 12 years, and it's my mission to help other photographers turn their hobby into a business. So I'm sharing everything that I know that helped me get to the point that I'm at now. So if you are starting a business this year, please subscribe and follow along for more tips. This video is part 2 of a 4-part series that is designed to help you start a photography business from the ground up. In this video, we're talking about everything you need to get your business started. First of all, let's talk about equipment. You need a camera, of course. This is kind of an obvious one. You need a lens, you need a battery, you need a memory card. By the way, get a fast memory card. You'll thank me later. And you need a computer. You need a computer that can run Lightroom and Photoshop, or even just Lightroom when you're starting out. So that's the bare bones of what you need to get started. You don't need fancy lighting equipment or, an arsenal of 7 different lenses. You can really get started with just your camera and your computer. In fact, I still shoot with one lens. It hardly ever leaves my camera. So don't fall into the trap of thinking that you need all this equipment and all this gear and throwing money at it to try and increase your skill. You really can get started with the basics and then focus on improving your skill through practice. Now, if you want to run a legit business, a legal business, if you are going to be taking in more than $400 per year, you need to get signed up to pay taxes. So all the following advice, I just want to have a little disclaimer that I am not a professional. I can't give you tax or legal advice or anything like that. But this is my experience and what steps I took to get my business started. And this kind of gives you a general starting point of what you need to look into for your business. So to get started, you need a name for your photography business. Now, don't overthink this. I know a few photographers who have put off starting their business for even years because they didn't have a name for their business. They were trying to think of something catchy and something that would stick and grow with them. And it's challenging. I just stuck with my name. It's Holly Nyland Photography. It's simple, it's not creative, but it's served me well for the past 12 years. The great thing about going with your name is that you're not really pigeonholing yourself into a certain genre of photography. It can grow with you and follow your passions, and you can kind of, pivot if you need to, and then you can still keep the same name. Once you have your name, you can file for your DBA. This stands for Doing Business As. It's just a simple document that says, I am so-and-so, and I'm doing business under this name. So in Michigan, you do this at your county clerk's office. It's just a really simple form, and I think it's a $25 fee, but your state may be different. So I would just Google how to get a DBA in my state. There are even some states that don't require a DBA, and then there are other states that have more strict requirements where they need you to announce your business in a publication. So like I said, Google it for your state just to make sure you're on the right page. Now, the next step, I would recommend finding an accountant right away. Somebody who works with small businesses, and this can be online or just in your town. But an accountant is so helpful. For one, when it comes time to do your taxes, they're gonna help you figure out what you can write off, help you sort out, your receipts and your expenses and everything that came along, especially when you're first starting and you don't really know what you need to track. Having that accountant in place is gonna just be so valuable. My accountant gives me so much advice on how to run my business even. So find a good accountant that you love, and it's gonna pay off. My accountant helps me once a year to file my annual tax return, and he answers all of my questions along the way. So I would recommend finding your accountant right away and asking them any questions that you have relating to taxes or write-offs or anything like that. They'll be helpful to have that person in your back pocket. Next, you need to decide if you want to be a sole proprietorship or an LLC. Now, I can't advise on what's right for your situation. Basically, a sole proprietorship is you are your business. It does not separate the assets. So if you were to get in trouble for any reason, like someone wanted to sue you for something, they could go after your personal assets also. Whereas an LLC separates your business from your personal. I will say that an LLC is a little bit more complicated to set up. few more fees involved and a little bit more careful record keeping. So sole proprietorship is a lot easier to start out with, and you can always change to an LLC later down the road. So like I said, you'll have to decide what works best for your situation. But if you want to go the simple route, a sole proprietorship would be the easier way to go. Next, to set yourself up to pay taxes, you need your EIN. This is an employer identification number. You can go to the IRS website if you're in the US, of course, and just sign up. It takes like 10 minutes and there's no cost to do it. And then you're gonna get your EIN right away. This is an important step because you're going to need this when you open up a business banking account. That leads us to our next point, opening up a business banking account. You're gonna wanna make sure and keep all of your business transactions separate from your personal. Whether you're taking income from a session, you're gonna want that to go directly into your business checking account, or if you're buying anything for your business, whether it's prints or supplies, anything like that, you're gonna wanna use a business debit card or a business check to pay for that, so everything's coming out of that same account. It makes it so much easier to keep track of, especially when it comes time to figure out your taxes. Now, you may be able to get a free business checking account where you already bank, but if not, you could open up a business checking account almost anywhere, whether it's an online bank or one that's in your town, but you'll want to open this up right away so that you don't start tangling your business and your personal income. You're also gonna need a method to keep track of all your finances, a bookkeeping method. Now, you can do this with paper and pencil or a spreadsheet, but it's a lot of work and it's hard to keep track of. So I would recommend using a software like QuickBooks, and this can actually hook right up to your business bank account. So it records all the transactions, and you can even create little rules to like auto translate them into certain categories. So it kind of keeps track of everything for you. And then when it comes time for taxes, you can give this information to your accountant and you'll be good to go. You won't be digging through piles of receipts. You're also going to want to keep track of your mileage. Every mile you drive, whether you're scouting for a location, going to a shoot, going to meet a client, going to buy a prop, this is all going to be a write-off when it comes time for taxes, so keep track of your mileage. Next, you want to get your sales tax license. Now, this varies from state to state, so the best thing to do is just Google how to get a sales tax license in my state. Now, this is important that you collect sales tax. You're going to be collecting sales tax from your clients, but this is not yours. You're setting this aside and you're going to pay this to the state. Now, sometimes you'll be paying monthly, quarterly, or yearly. Depends on your state. It depends on how much you're making. This is another reason you're gonna wanna talk to your accountant because they're gonna help you figure out how you go about this. But even if you're just doing digital products, you still need to collect sales tax on behalf of the state. So make sure you get set up for this right away. Now, it's also really important that you have insurance, liability insurance and equipment insurance. The liability insurance protects you in case anything goes wrong, and the equipment insurance protects you in case there's equipment failure, whether it gets lost or stolen or whatever it may be. You want to be insured. So I would recommend looking into the PPA insurance program. They have pretty affordable insurance, especially for photographers. I think it's like $500 or $600 a year, and then you'll be protected in those areas. So this would be the next step that you would want to do. Now we're getting to the exciting stuff. You're going to want to set up an email address for your business. You're going to want to get your business social media accounts ready to go. And think about making a website too. I know this might seem overwhelming if you don't have one, and it's definitely not the first thing you need to do when you start a business, but you're eventually going to want to have that home base online for people to go and learn more about you, see samples of your work, and contact you. So after you have all of those social media accounts set up, you're going to be ready to take paying clients. So let's run through those steps again really quick, just so you remember everything. You need a name. You need equipment, camera and a lens and a computer. You need to get your DBA, you need to find an accountant, and you need to decide if you want to be an LLC or a sole proprietorship. You need an EIN, a business bank account, and an accounting software. You need sales tax license, and you also need insurance. Then you're setting up your email and your social media accounts, and you are off to the races. Now don't miss the third part of this series, which is how to price your photography. I'll see you in the next video.